What's up, everybody? Clint here, and sorry about the road noise in the background. I wanted to record this just to get my thoughts down, and just finished up the BT Epic a little bit ago. I'm leaving Bass Campground where it was held, headed home, and having a lot of mixed feelings about this race and my experience today. So I thought I'd do a quick podcast before Kyle and Ryan, rake me over the coals later about it. Anyway, so right off the bat, I did not meet my goal of 7 hours. Although, I think I definitely had 7.5 hours worth of fitness in me, maybe even better than that. But the problem was, had some issues. So I went with the third wave out of three, the slower wave, and definitely was sort of in the middle kind of pack of that wave once we got to the trails. Now, the first 4 miles of this race are all on gravel road, so, people were flying pretty good, and I was smart and kind of took it easy. But what happened, started out the day, and when you get off the gravel road, it's immediately a descent, and there's kind of a spot where it gets a little bit steep and kind of chunky and loose, but nothing, major. And I swear I passed like 10, 15 people, probably within a 30 yards section, because they were getting off their bikes and walking them down this hill. And I'm just like hopping across lines back and forth, passing people, just going on your left, on your right, on your left. So anyway, I actually felt pretty good. I was cold the whole time. I never did really get warmed up. It was in the low 60s today. If I could go back and do it again, I think maybe I would have worn a long sleeve jersey. I think just that little bit extra would have been good, but my legs never really got warm because I was kind of taking it easy. And things were actually going pretty well. The routes were slick. I'll talk more about the tires in the other podcast, those Vittoria Sierra downcountry tires, and let you know more about what I think. They are definitely more like cross-country tires than trail tires. They're pretty hard. Even the side knobs, I wish they had made them just a little softer with a little more give and gumminess, because on wet routes, man, it was kind of scary the first half of the day today. All the roots and rocks were wet, and there was just they were all like little ice roots with those tires on there. But anyway, like I said, I'll save that. Ran into some trouble, though. So about mile 15, I started to get pain in my right knee, kind of to the front outside of my knee. And it wasn't terrible, and I was kind of like, all right, just take it easy, pedal smooth. I was about 5 miles from the Berryman campground, which is about 21, 22 miles in. And I thought, okay, when I get there, I'll get out my multi-tool, I'll slide my saddle back. Because I know if your saddle's too far forward, you start getting pain in the front of your knee. I'll raise it up, I'll kind of do those things. So I did, and got to Berryman. It was great. My wife and my kids were there, and my dad was there, and I kind of took my time and ate my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, drank a little Dr. Pepper, re-lubed the chain on my bike, and just kind of took it easy. I was actually feeling pretty good. Fitness-wise, I'm pretty happy. I felt pretty good fitness-wise. So after walking around Berryman, I did some stretches and all that kind of stuff. I thought, okay, maybe my knee will be okay. Well, it wasn't. It did not take too long leaving from Berryman campground till that right knee started hurting worse and worse, and it would just shoot sharp pain. Like the kind where I was like groaning in pain out loud. not even because I was tired. I wasn't even breathing hard. It was just like, and I carried on, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to bail out and give up and DNF or what I'm going to do. So from Berryman Campground to Whiskey Ridge is about 9 miles. And I'm just like, okay, when I get to Whiskey Ridge, I'm pretty sure I'll have cell service there. I'm going to get on Google and see what, if there's something I can do to help with this knee pain. Because if not, I cannot do another 20 miles. I mean, Whiskey Ridge is 30 miles into the race, which, by the way, is more than 50 miles, which was kind of a bummer. But I get to Whiskey Ridge, and it hurts bad. So I hop off, Google search, and what I find out is if you have pain on the outside of your knee, they say try to slide, that maybe your cleat position's bad, and that you should move your cleat to the inside of your shoe. So cleat more to the inside of your shoe, which I guess would bring your foot out. And I didn't even know, where my cleat was on that foot. So I sit down, take off my shoe. Turns out my cleats, I have them set all the way to the outside of my shoe. And so I'm like, okay, well, this might be good news because it means there's significant room for adjustment, and maybe that will make the difference. And so I get out my tool, and one of the screws, man, I almost couldn't get it loose without stripping it. Got lucky, but I cleaned it out, slid my cleat on my right foot all the way to the inside as far as I could, and took off, and immediately could tell that there was going to be a difference. Now, at this point, my knee was just sore, but I wasn't getting that shooting pain anymore. It was totally manageable. And I'm like, great, all right, I can do this. I'm way behind right now, but, maybe I can still make my goal. Now, I forgot to mention right before Whiskey Ridge, sorry to Victoria, but I did get a puncture, and it wasn't even anywhere where I was sending it. It was just kind of a flat area where you're just pedaling. I don't even know what little rock I hit. I just heard, and sure enough, had a puncture. So fortunately, bacon strip plug took care of it. Had to get a little help from a guy because I was trying to push the bacon strip in with a Allen key multi-tool. That doesn't work. I found out how important it is to have the little forky thing to put that in so you can actually get it down into the tire and then pull it out properly. But a guy behind me had one. He had a pump. So I used one of my CO2s to get it most of the way, and then instead of using the other, just because I wasn't 100% sure if it was sealing, he let me use his pump, and I got my tire up, where it would be good, and went on to Whiskey Ridge, fixed my cleat, took off down the trail. I'm like, oh, it's on now. Like, I think it's going to get better. I think I can finish, which is all I really wanted to do. And, man, after a couple miles, like my knee, that right knee, like pretty much all the pain was gone. And I was stoked. And probably about mile 37, 38, you get on a gravel road, and I was fine. I'm like, okay, we're good. There's 16, well, at least I thought 15 or 16 miles to go. It turned out to be more than that. So everything was good until there's these three, they're kind of the three steepest, hardest climbs of the whole race, sort of. And you hit them at about mile 40, 42, right before you get back to Bass Campground, which when you get back to Bass Campground, the race is not over, not by a long shot. But they're called the Three Sisters, and there were a few spots where I didn't want to blow myself up, so I hopped off my bike to push up some tricky switchbacks, and I could feel that knee kind of starting to hurt again, which shouldn't be surprising because I think it was just so inflamed from before that it was just a matter of time. Well, I carry on, do those 3 descents real fast, get back to Bass, and start heading up this paved road to gravel. And man, I can just feel that knee starting to hurt more and more and more and more. And you still have like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 miles to go. Like, and I swear it's all uphill. I don't know how that's even possible, but it certainly feels like that it almost feels like you climb back to the bottom. It's really weird. You do a long gravel road ride and then get back on trail, and there's multiple long climbs. And my right knee was hurting so bad that going down the descents, I couldn't stand up. Like, I could not put any weight on it. My right leg's usually my back foot. I tried to run it in the front, didn't work. Just everything felt wrong. I was literally just dropping my seat and just sitting on my seat going down these hills. In a few places, I would kind of stand up and almost lock my leg out. That was all right, but like I couldn't use going around, a left-hand turn. I could not support my weight on my right leg. It was terrible. I mean, it was so bad. I'm looking at my Garmin. It's showing that like I'm pretty much at 50 miles, and I can tell that I'm nowhere near the finish. I'm getting mad. I don't even know what it ended up being, like 52 or something on my Garmin. All the last, you're just climbing these rough hills. They're loose, they're rough. I'm like yelling into the abyss angrily. I still managed to go ahead and finish the race. I think my time, I'll have to look officially. I didn't even find out, but I think it was somewhere around 8 minutes and 8 hours and 5, 6, 7 minutes maybe. So definitely not where I wanted to be. And certainly I felt like I could have gone harder and faster as far as my fitness went, but that knee just hurt so bad that I couldn't do it. It was terrible. I was having to get off and hobble and walk, and even when it was over, I mean, I was just walking like with a peg leg, that right leg just sticking straight out. So the other thing that I was kind of have a beef about, and I'm not the only one, is when you get to the Berryman campground, you still have 31, 32, at least 30 miles of racing left. And there's supposed to be 1 or 2 more aid stations. And I guess because I was toward the back and the race people didn't bother to check them, they were empty. There was no water for the entire rest of the race. So I had filled my bottles up at Berryman, and thank God it wasn't hot today, because I had my 2 20-ounce bottles, and that's literally all I had for the last 30 miles. I know I'm not the only one that was pretty upset about that. That was a major dropped ball. Kind of makes me a little mad, but yeah, not sure I'm really going to be into long distance type racing like this going forward in the future. You know, maybe 25-mile races be all right, but definitely not digging the 50. Who knows? You know, if I get my knee situation figured out where that doesn't happen again, maybe by next year, if I've been riding a lot and feel like I'm in decent shape and have a short travel bike, I will do it. But I definitely don't want to do it on my Slash, regardless of the tires. So look for a longer review where Kyle and Ryan make fun of me coming soon. All right. Thanks for listening. Adios.